Okay, I've completed setup. I've got my dice in hand. I've got the rules to the side, and I'm also going to have this handy card with me because it lays out each of the steps that you can perform each round. So I'm going to hold it off to the side of the camera space while I do the actions within your view. I'm going to roll my dice in this little box so they don't fly off of my makeshift table. To start, I'm doing the preparation phase, and I'm supposed to roll 3 dice. Keep 2, get rid of 1. There's my roll. I have a 5, a 3, and a 1. These dice can be used to perform the second action on the card that you select for the round. They also give you the opportunity to, if you are on a space that has one of the dice that you've rolled. So for example, I've rolled a 5. This card has a 5 on it. If I land up on my turn in this space, I can spend the 5 and any necessary building materials to put a token on one of the 4 that I'm responsible for. That's way ahead of the game. I have 0 materials, so I'm not worried about actually getting to any place to build on this card. I am worried about getting to places that will fill up my resources. So I've got a 5, a 3, and a 1. I didn't say I was going to make particularly good decisions because I just want things to happen. So what I am going to do is I'm going to pick this card, and I'm not going to actually use the dice. There's a bonus for not using the dice. So I'm going to pick this card as the one that I'm working. It says pay a coin, take 1 resource. So I'm going to pay a coin. I go down from 2 to 1, and I'm going to take a resource. What resource am I going to take? For no reason whatsoever, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take steel. So now I've got 1 steel. I've used this card. I have to move the corresponding number of spaces with my engineer. So he's starting here. I've got to move 2 spaces. I can only move orthogonally. There's no diagonal movement in the game. So moving him to places that have resource icons on them. So for example, this guy right here down in the bottom, if I move there, I get a chance to get a steel. And within my sight, that's about all I can do. So I'm going to move 2, and I must move all of it. 2 places to get over there. Since I've used this card, it goes into the discard pile. I will have to do something to get these cards if I want to use them again. I have completed the preparation phase, and I've completed the projects phase. I used a project card, and I did one of the 2 actions. So now I'm on the investment phase. I'm supposed to perform an action indicated on the district card where your worker is. The action is get a steel, so now I've got 2 steel. And finally, now the final phase, I'm supposed to put one of my buildings on the area where my engineer is. I like color matching, so I'm going to pick my factory. I'm going to put it on the orange card, slide it back there, lay him down. And if you have 2 dice that you haven't used, that's my active dice. I probably should have rejected one of them, so those would be my active dice. I didn't use either one, so I end up with 1 extra coin. So I'm back up into $2. That's the end of this phase. I'll play through a couple more. So to start with, I'm on the preparation phase. I have to roll 3 dice. Choose 2, discard 1. I have a 3, a 3, and a 2. I can't see any reason to have doubles at this point, so I'm going to reject my 3 and save my 2 and my 3, thinking they might be useful for something. I would like to stay on the getting resources train, so I'd like to pick one of the cards where I only move 1. The area right next to me, I get wood if I land there next turn, so that's what I want to do. I'm not going to pick the 2 card. Here, remove a building from any available area. If I get low on these buildings, removing one is great, but right now I've got plenty to choose from. This says set a die to any result. Here it's pay 3 coins, get 2 resources, and remove, but I don't have 3 coins, so that's not useful. And the last one says 2 coins or take 1 resource. So that's actually the one I'm going to do. I really want to build up my resources. So far I've got 2 steel, so I know I can complete this. And I've got 1 wood. If I get a wood, I can do this one. If I get a wood and a coal, then I can do this one too. So I am going to do this one. I'm not going to take the coins. I'm going to take the resource. And actually I'm realizing I'm moving 1 on this turn. So on this card, I'm going to take a coal, and I'm going to move my 1, and I'm now in a location that gives me a wood in the next phase. So I've used a project card, I moved the appropriate number of times, and I got the materials. I have to discard this card. Investment phase says perform the action indicated on the district where you're located. I am located where I get a wood. Finally, final phase, put one of the buildings where you stand. So I'll put a building there. If you have 2 active dice, I didn't use either of my dice, so I get another coin. I'm up to 3. So at this point, I have 1 coal, 2 steel, 1 wood, 3 money. I'm able to build a lot of things, so that's where I want to focus my next turn. I realize also I have been through 2 turns, so I should be on the 8th number on the counter. All right, next turn. Hopefully I build something. I ended up with a 1, a 3, and a 6. The way that I managed to build these buildings is A, you have the resources that are needed to fill in the bubble, and B, you must end your turn during the investment phase on a card for which you have a matching die. I've rolled a 1, a 3, and a 6. You may not be able to see, but this card is 2 away from me. Sorry, this district is 2 away from me, and it has a 6. I have a 6, so I could manage to build there. I have a 1, which is up here. I have a 3, which is the location that I'm on. So, no matter what, I'm going to have to take this card. I won't be able to use the die move, and maybe something happens, and so the 3 is the one I'm going to get rid of. There's no convenient 3 for building. Now, do I want to move up into this corner, or do I want to move down here? I think I want to move down, so I'm going to end up using my 6 die. I've already got it planned out. My plan this turn is to build one of these buildings using my resources, so I'm going to take this 2. I'm going to do that first. I'm going to move my guy so that I know I'm there. And I've got 2 options on it. Do not move the marker on the round dial, or exchange 1 resource for 2 different ones. Exchange 1 resource for 2 different ones. I'm about to get another steel, I think. No. In the investment phase, I either get the steel on here or I build a building. So I'm not going to get an additional steel. So if I trade, I think I will. What the heck? I'm going to trade 1 steel and I'm going to get a coal and a wood. So I have 2 of each of those. I do need 2 coals. I need 4 woods, but 2 will do me good. And then I'll worry about picking up more steel later. So I'm still going to have to move the round card. I'm exchanging 1 for 2 different ones. So that card is gone. My engineer is on the spot. I've done my project phase. I selected one of the actions on the card, and now I'm going to the investment phase. So the options for investment phase are, if you're in industrial, you pick up the resource. If you're in commercial, you exchange a material for one of another type. If you're in residential, you get money, or, and this is the option that I'm taking this time, I'm not going to take those resources. I want to start building because time is passing and I've got a goal of 4. So I have my die 6 that matches the area that I'm in. I paid that bit, and now I owe... Which one am I going to build? The bottom one requires a coal, a wood, and a steel, so that's the one I'm going to do. I'm out of steel. I have 1 wood left. I have 1 coal left. And now I take one of these buildings, and I'm going to put it on the card to denote that I have accomplished building that one of 4. So that's the end of that one. I've done my investment phase, and now I have to put another building on the area where I stand. I don't have 2 active dice because I spent them, so I do not move my money up. Put this guy here. Okay, and the round tracker this time I will remember goes down. So I'm on round 7. I have built one of the 4 things that I'm responsible for. I've got 3 buildings on my cards. I've got a few left, but as I keep moving around, more and more of these buildings are going to disappear, so I'm going to want to use cards that remove buildings from the area on the board. I'll do one more round because I want to demonstrate how to get those cards back. I'm running out of things. So my final die is here. I'm going to roll. I got a 3, a 3, and a 2. So that's my roll. I'm going to discard one of them. I don't care for doubles, so I'm going to keep a 2 and a 3. Yeah, I'm also going to take advantage of one of the other options here that I don't generally, so I'm not sure if I'm doing right. It says I could spend a coin to remove a building from any area. It says I can also activate 1 die with any result to remove a building from any area, and I can do that only once. I'm not sure if I can do both of those things, so I'll just pick one. Here's a die. I'll set it aside. I've activated it, and I'm going to take the building off of my steel. So that's all part of the prep phase, and now on to projects phase. I have been using the actions that are available on the cards, but there is one other option, and that is to, on the project phase in the rules, it says you can move your engineer by 1 area and get back all of your project cards. So I'll redraw all of my project cards, and at that time I also have to move the round marker by 1. So I'm gonna do that. Move that down 1, so I'm on 6. I get all of my cards back. And that's my only option for the projects phase. I am not allowed to do anything with the cards that I gained back. The next move is investment phase, so I'm supposed to perform the action for the district card that I'm on. I'm on one that gives me steel. Oh, nope, I forgot to move my engineer, and I have to move him by 1. And it looks like the best I can do is residential. Okay, so I've got him moved to residential. I'm not going to get steel for that. I'm going to get $2 for that. So I'm up to $5. Now with the final phase, I have to put a building where my engineer stands. Because I activated one of my dice, and that was to get rid of a building, I don't get the $1 bonus, and now I move the round marker down again. So that actually took me 2 turns to accomplish getting all of my cards back and managing to get a little bit of extra money as a bonus. I think essentially that's it. I'm not going to play out the rest of this game. I do have a feeling that I'm in pretty good shape with the resources that I have left. If anybody has any comments about anything that I did wrong, feel free to comment down below. And hey, thanks for watching.